खड्ग संभालो, छोड़ो मेहंदी खड्ग संभालो, खुद ही अपना चीर बचा लो। द्यूत बिछाए बैठे शकुनी, मस्तक सब दिख जाएंगे। सुनो द्रौपदी शस्त्र उठा लो, अब गोविंद ना आएंगे। सुनो द्रौपदी शस्त्र उठा लो, अब गोविंद ना आएंगे। कब तक आस लगाओगी तुम बिके हुए अखबारों से, कब तक आस लगाओगी तुम बिके हुए अखबारों से। कैसी रक्षा मांग रही हो दुशासन दरबारों से, कैसी रक्षा मांग रही हो दुशासन दरबारों से। स्वयं जो लज्जाहीन खड़े हैं वो क्या लाज बचाएंगे, स्वयं जो लज्जाहीन खड़े हैं वो क्या लाज बचाएंगे। सुनो द्रौपदी शस्त्र उठा लो, अब गोविंद ना आएंगे। सुनो द्रौपदी शस्त्र उठा लो, अब गोविंद ना आएंगे। कल तक केवल अंधा राजा, कल तक केवल अंधा राजा, अब गूंगा बहरा भी है। होठ सिल दिए हैं जनता के, कानों पर पहरा भी है। तुम ही कहो ये अश्रु तुम्हारे, तुम ही कहो ये अश्रु तुम्हारे, किसको क्या समझाएंगे। सुनो द्रौपदी शस्त्र उठा लो, अब गोविंद ना आएंगे। गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी, इट्स सिद्धार्थ यादव, योर मॉडरेटर फॉर द डे। और इससे पहले कि सेशन शुरू करें मैं क्लैरिफिकेशन दे दूं कि कविता मैंने बिल्कुल नहीं लिखी है। ये टॉपिक का कॉन्टेक्स्ट था तो मैंने सिर्फ पढ़ी है और मेरे पास कोई राइट भी नहीं थे इसको पढ़ने के। तो अच्छी थी तो मुझे पता भी नहीं है, अनु दीदी बैठे हैं ये बताएंगे किसने लिखी, मुझे ये पता भी नहीं है किसने लिखी, बट अच्छी थी, कॉन्टेक्स्ट में थी तो मैंने पढ़ी है। Discussion on topic fostering gender inclusivity and diversity, and we will be starting with the session. So first question I shoot to Anuma. Anuma, what is diversity, equity and inclusion mean to you? And how do you relate it to working in family environment? Are we really clear about why behind this gender diversity and sensitivity issues?
First of all, Naz, very beautiful show you put up. Like this very day, I was not expecting such influx of people, but it is they are all full, all crowded. So kudos. And Siddharth, very beautiful poem. I am missing the name, but it is copyright free, so you do not have to pay any copyright for reading or reciting it. Next, I come to your question. What is inclusivity, diversity, and equity? See, I'll start with diversity. In society, like a planet is in need of n number of species. Humans are one of them. And humans are not of one kind. We are of different race, we are of different color, we are of different creed, we are of different gender. So acknowledging the fact that there are people of different kind is diversity. The cognizance or recognition of diversity. Now equity. It is about having or providing equal power to each human kind in their rights area, in their own space. It is called equity. And now inclusivity. So when I talk about my rights, I should be including them all. It should be, if I'm talking about my rights, it should not be like only my rights. It should also be about her right, your right, or right of that girl who is not listening to me, who is not here, who does not have any access to any part, any system, but is surviving here, to the last human being as well. That is called inclusivity. I'll quote a beautiful example. So I was in Lucknow, your Lucknow Farah. And this was this literary show only, and it was a session somebody asked me. I quoted there that I do not write myself to be Lekhika. I call myself Lekhan. The person asked me, the person got up and asked me, why do you call yourself only Lekhan? Because there is a word called Lekhika in Hindi as well. Then I said, how do you include transgenders in that? Lekhan, Stri, Lekhika, Lekhan, Purush, Lekhika, Stri. Where is the word for transgenders? So when we think of them, in 2020, there was this word called they, we all are aware of it. This word was included as the word of the year as the most inclusive word because it does not have any gender bifurcation. So when inclusivity is this, when we think of somebody, we think of everybody. When we think of white people, we think of brown people, we think of black people as well. When we think of upper caste, then we think of people in the lower pyramids as well. So inclusivity is the most. Somebody is clapping for me. I listen to that. The baby is. Yeah, what is inclusivity is the most human idea or way of living or being human. That's all right. What was the second part?
Are we
The
really,
why. The why.
yeah, are we really clear about the why?
Yeah, why is that? That I responded the why.
Yeah. Sakshi ma'am, your take on this.
Hello. On the same question?
Yeah, same question.
Okay. Inclusivity for me is more than equality. It is to provide a space to everyone to freely, where they can tell their perspective, where they can tell their identity. It is a space. If I don't have a space where I can identify myself, identify my identity, then there's no way, even if you are giving me, if you are giving me equal opportunities, but you are not giving me a space to be myself, then that is not an inclusive environment. So, inclusivity is a proper space where the space that I call, no, this is my space. I can be myself. I know that people won't judge me. So this is this is more powerful than equality. The inclusivity word, the fostering inclusiveness, is more powerful than equity. What was the next question?
Means the stereotyping aspect will not be.
Yes. What was the
Next question was, are we really clear about why this gender inclusivity word came to the
Yes.
Means why this required?
This is required because all genders are human beings. That's it. We all are human beings. And if we are human beings, then why will you discriminate us? Why this bifurcation? And because I am a gender scholar, like in the Department of English, I'm working on autobiographies of transgenders. And while reading these autobiographies, I have come to know the pathetic condition, the way these transgender people are being treated. They are not even being treated as humans. So the question arises that the autobiographies that I am dealing with, so one is A. Revati, and you all would be knowing about A. Revati. She's a part of my her autobiography serves as my primary text, not case study, but the primary text. So she was initially a part of Hijra community. She did beggary, performed prostitute work, but now she's such a renowned author, and she performs plays in the renowned universities, including Harvard and Columbia University. Her autobiography is there, and as a part of the gender studies in many universities. So this is the proof that what is the importance of autobiography. When you give somebody a space to speak and empower, then only we know about the perspective of the person. We won't know about the perspective. What is, just imagine that there is a magical book in which it contains the story of your life, your challenges, your battle, your tears and emotions, everything. And now imagine you would have written that story on your own. Now, nobody can write. And this happens when a marginalized person writes the story. Then the people can understand what is their thinking, what is their way of living life. So the space, giving them space to speak is more important, I think.
I remember a poetry, perhaps a legalitarian country church where the
Yes.
poet says,
Yes.
let not ambition mock the useful toy. If I remember it right. Meghna ma'am, what role a male can play in this equality segment, in fostering gender equality and neutrality?
This is a very good question because I come across it often while running a choir organization, because people do come up to me and ask what men can do, and by men you mean heterosexual men or any man?
Yeah, any man.
Yes. I believe if they are part of community, they are obviously doing plenty of activism that I come across. There are many senior activists from the LGBTQIA+ community, and as if you are not from community, but as men, I can cite a very common experience of me as an example. So there was this ritual at my sister's engagement, and usually that ritual is done by her brother. And we are two daughters. My mother has heard her entire life that, oh, we are so sorry, you have two daughters. So I was doing that ritual, and one of the priests, we have two priests, one from girls' side, one from groom side. So the groom side priest interrupted the ritual. They said, don't you have any cousins or any other male, any brother? And so I just joked, do you expect my parents to have a son now for a ritual? Because that's not going to work. And he was being very reluctant, and everybody around me, my father was telling me, okay, let me find your cousin brother. But my brother-in-law took my stand there. He said, no, she's going to do the ritual. She's the only sibling of my would-be wife. And I said, yeah, I stood my ground, and he just supported it. And imagine, we are somewhere in rural Punjab. It is a very big deal for people there to understand that, okay, a girl can perform it's just a tiny ritual, I just have to do a fill up. And the priest was making a fuss about it. So this is what allyship is about. Even my brother-in-law sometimes do not understand about queer community, but he educates himself. He actively asks questions. And so this is what allyship looks like. This is what men can do. When a woman is taking a stand, just step aside with them and support them. It looks like a very small incident, but yeah, that really touched me. And this is something that I have also noticed in many cases within the community, because we run a shelter home, and we see that sometimes if brothers or fathers, if they take a stand that no, I will keep my child, even if my child is queer, I'm not going to throw them out on the street. Sometimes the relatives come and tell them that, okay, your kid is transgender, you should throw them out, you should disown them. It's a lot on our family. So if male relatives, and because we sometimes forget that men are existing in the society and they can do a lot. We are not telling them to take over, we are telling them to be allies and be supportive as much as they could. Because it does matter. They do have certain privileges in a patriarchal society. And this incident established different power dynamics within his household, his side of the family. That yeah, we have to give this girl more importance because she's the only sibling of the bride. We have to treat her with much importance, as much as we would have treated somebody who might be the son of my parents. So, and gladly that Pandit was fired, he was not in the part of the wedding. But yeah, so men can be allies, men can make our lives easier by stepping up with us. Or sometimes they don't even understand things, but they support. So that does make a difference. Also to educate yourself and be supportive with not only women but also your queer friends and relatives as much as you can.
I'm getting this question.
Yeah, Sharma.
Were you going to ask a different one?
Yeah, but you can carry on.
Please.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, fine. I'll be adding something into Meghna's thing. See, men have agency. What is the meaning of agency? Having the power, having authority, you know. Thing is, like, I have a younger brother. When I was kind of trapped in my marriage, and my agency was lost. I was not able to move out of my marriage. At that point in time, when I complained it to my mother was telling it to me that तुमने प्रेमचंद की बड़े घर की बेटी नहीं पढ़ी है, तुमने देखा नहीं है कि कैसे बड़े घर की बेटियां सह जाती हैं, घरों को संभाल लेती हैं. I was asking her to give the phone to my dad, and she was making sure that my phone call doesn't reach my dad. At that point in time, I called up my brother. My brother picked up his phone and called up my mom and said that I'll be making a call to neighbors if she does not give the phone to them. So my brother took the stand for me, my father took the stand for me, and they helped me be what I am today. So men have agency in the society if they acknowledge their agency and act in favor of their, even if in the favor of women of their family, the society will be much better place. 1, 2. Men can also utilize their agency in helping other women from the society. If you look at the trolls, as of now, after it's this last like 10-15 years, I would not want to quote the year here. Since last 10-15 years, the online trolling for women, that has increased like anything. You write anything, you quote your story, you share anything, there will be kind of a horde of men or trolls abusing you. So if you are somebody who understands that I have power, I can make a change for betterment, you can be somebody who can stop that, or who can come in support. That support will actually empower you as well as other women. So agencies can work in both ways. For the women of a family and for the women of patriarchy can be slashed down or diminished. So what was Michelle? Shall I be passing it on?
I'm getting a timeout notification, but I do have a very important question pending, so I'll shoot one more question and I'll be calling out. Hanuman, Meghna Mehra and Sakshi, do you really think that there has to be a policy at central level by central government or a structured system to ensure that gender inclusivity reaches to all levels?
Oh my God, a big yes.
Siddhartha, yes, Meghna has already said a big yes. There are a lot of policies in the center or in this in our rule book. It is more about execution. There will be n number of policies and then policies. There are seats reserved for female candidates. There is a seat. Somebody yesterday only I came across an example from Mumbai, from central Mumbai. There is one one MLA from who belongs to a Thakur family from Banaras and is MLA since last 15 years. She has no say. Until unless there is a proper execution, no policy is going to be that impactful. However, policies would make a change. There will be women like us who will be actually making part, who will be talking about it. But then execution is more important because there are stringent laws in our rule book, in our constitution. But if system is actually in favor of you, then only things can be better. That's all. Making policies regularly, continually would not help. Making people better in the system, creating awareness would help more.
Okay, I absolutely second this idea. In organizations, what happens is questionnaires and surveys do come.
Yeah.
There's nothing on ground level. Yeah, please.
I might have a very extremist view of it that we really need to pass bills and legislations. I'm not saying that if somebody is trolling to host a jail medal, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to tell is, there's a long debate going on even now about women reservation bill, and it hasn't been implemented yet. It will be implemented later. And currently there's a ministry, I need to check once. But there's a recent legislation that if you are a married woman, you need a no objection certificate from your husband to keep your maiden name. So, and it's a proposal. So, this is really absurd. This is a sense of slavery, a sense of ownership and I am seeing people around me who has to change their surnames. Otherwise, because there's so much family drama going on. So, and this is just a legal part of it. If we talk about when there was discussions about Trans Act, the punishment for raping a trans person was less than raping a cisgender person. Currently, there is no law to criminalize rape against men. And this affects gay men a lot. It affects bisexual men a lot. It affects trans men. It affects asexual men. I think it also affects heterosexual men. Because in a patriarchal society like ours, a man cannot get rape according to the law. This
for like
yes, and there's no law for marital rape. Whenever the discussion for marital rape comes up, people start. I don't know if you ever engage in an online debate, you will see these days people are even justifying dowry by saying that because later the wife will divorce and get alimony. They are equating dowry debts to, and our divorce rate is 1 to 3%. So the activeness of MRA propaganda and the common people believing it makes it essential that we should do something on policy level and to ensure that is implemented. Because even now when homosexuality is decriminalized in India, we come across homophobic lawyers, conversion therapy. We also come across these judges when somebody is trying to leave their home or to make an appeal that they are facing domestic abuse by their parents. So I totally agree with ma'am that we need to have implementation in a better way, and there's also need of proper intersectional approach at policy level, at bureaucratic level, and as a political consultant I will say God bless this country because the kind of politicians we all are dealing with, even with the reserved seats, she's right. They try to misuse reserved seats even at your ward and MCD level. You might have come across those posters that this is XYZ person's bahu. They are mentioning the name of the candidate, but then they are mentioning whose bahu beti they are 2 minutes.
Pradhanpati, Sarpanchpati, these are the official.
Okay, we have time to explain, so I'm passing the mic to you.
So I just want to point out that men are having the agency and power. Those who are having the power can tell what is right and what is wrong. Truth जो होता है ना वो सिर्फ powerful लोगों, knowledge, if everybody, we all are knowledgeable people, but जिसके पास power होगा उसी का truth माना जाएगा. So the truth, this is homophobic lawyers ma'am talked about. So homophobic lawyers क्यों हैं? Homophobic lawyers are there because they are having the power. Heterosexual men, they are having the power. Power दूसरे gender के पास है ही नहीं. As long as the other genders won't have power. So that is why I've always felt that literature is important. Here comes the role of literature or autobiography is important because it is a medium through which they can speak and they can get the power. People can understand that no, they are educated. I'm just telling you the policy, that the question that we talked about, coming to that question, that there are many policies. Even for transgenders, no, up to 2014 Act judgment. But ये